Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing What If Izuku Was a Celestial Part 2. Before I start, what's shown on the screen right now are the equipment that he's able to use right now. The sixth one, the skates, is not unlocked yet. Not sure when he's going to come out, but it's not now. They're hard for me to pronounce, so I'm just going to be going by a first star, second star, and third star, and so on and so on. I have found most things I need to do for the series, so hold on, it's been a long time since I got back into it. This is my fifth take right now. And yeah, I think that's everything. With that said, let's get into it. Right now, we are in Izuku's classroom. He's in the back right corner for the teacher, a point of view. Now he's turned back, writing down a few math problems. And the moment that the teacher turned his back on the classroom, Izuku immediately goes down on his desk and starts sleeping. Why? It's because of all the classes and all the tutors, instructors. Fuck, don't even know what that word is or how to pronounce it. Teachers, senseis, all of them that his father put him in. And because of that, he gets home around 10. And by that time, he doesn't have enough time to do homework. And by that time, he's already tired and wants to go to sleep. That is why he is sleeping during class. The teachers look back and he sees that some of his students are writing down the notes. But he sees Zuku and Bakugo not paying attention. He's not gonna talk to Bakugo because Bakugo has a very powerful quirk. But to Zuku, he doesn't care for his quirk because, well, the teacher thinks he doesn't have one since he never showed it off. So he yells at Zuku, and Zuku wakes up, looks over to the teacher, and lazily raised his hand kind of like a wave and said, "Morning, sir." And the teacher said, "Izuku, if you're so smart, how about you come up to the class and solve this equation?" Izuku looks over at it, gets up, say, what a drag?" Goes over to the teacher, but very slowly. Looked like he just woke up from a heavy sleep. He gets over all the way to the other side, finally with the teacher. He picked up the chalk, and when he put it right on the chalkboard, the teacher is waiting for him to write something. A few seconds pass, and see it's not moving. The rest of the class are, well, trying to say something, try to give Izuku some answers since they know he has a quirk and help him out. And the teacher looks closer and sees Izuku asleep. And he tried to wake up Izuku, and Izuku said, "Oh." He blinks his eyes, shake a little bit, and then look at the teacher and said, "Oh, good morning." And the teacher tells him, "Just go back to your table." And Zuko nods. As he looks at the equation, he put in the answer, put it down, and went to the desk. The moment he got back there, he immediately went back to sleep. The teacher was about to answer the equation and go along with class, but realized that Izuku put in the correct answer. He gets tired. That was the last time. That's the last straw. I can't do it. To himself. He has done this multiple times with Izuku, and every time he did the same thing, and he just can't do it anymore. So he just said, "Alright, Izuku, if you're awake, that is." And he hears a little of a grunt. Give him that answer, said, "From now on, just show me that you're at least listening to what I'm saying." A few seconds passed, and Izuku said, "Sure." And the teacher said, "Good enough." He went back into teaching. A few of the classes have been passing by, and it's the same situation but with different teachers. During lunch, Izuku is finally awake for the first time ever, and some of his friends came by and asked him if he would like to eat with them. Izuku denies it and went up, grabbed his lunchbox, and went over to the roof of the school. Yep. He'd eat his food. After finishing it, pulls out a pillow out of his backpack, lay it down, and, well, fall asleep. The bell rings for lunch to be over, and as he was getting back to his classroom, he almost ran into someone. That someone was Bakugo. And Bakugo has a stuck up his rear, and it seems like it's stuck up there forever because he's still taunting, spelling out nonsense towards Izuku without even realizing that Izuku is closing his eyes, waving side to side while standing and somewhat in a sleep state. And Bakugo is just getting furious and starts to want to throw a punch. But the moment that Bakugo throws a punch, Izuku feels it against his face and uses that momentum to use Bakugo's momentum of force, turn him around, flip him over Izuku, slam him down on the floor, and said, "Sorry, sir, I for hitting you," without even opening up his eyes. And then he opened the door going into his classroom. Everybody saw this, and they know not to mess with Izuku when he was sleepwalking, basically. Baku was just mad at this point, but keep quiet until the very end of class. I didn't say exactly how old he is right now, did I? I hope not. If I did, I'm going to retcon it, because this is the very episode, the first episode. At the end of the day, the teacher comes in and talk about this whole spiel about your quirks, how helpful you will be in the future, and more nonsense. Until at the very end, he asks for everybody to put down what they're going to be in the future. And then he starts laughing because he knows, and he throws all the paper in the sky and just tells them that he knows that everybody's going to be a hero. And, well, yeah. God dang it. Damn, I had to put down a poll now. Great. No. The reason I'm stopping right now is because I have no idea who I'm playing Izuku with. Like ships. And I'm still on the fence with who. There's like 3 girls I'm thinking right now, and none of them really match. I'll figure out when I get there. Anyway, back into the story. He pulled out 2 paper and noticing that Bakugo is gonna be attending or trying to attend a UA, which everybody's shocked to realize to hear that from Bakugo. And they say about these percentages and chances of getting in. Bakugo talk about everything out of his rear and saying he's the best and no one will ever beat him. By this time, Zuko finally wakes up because he knows it's about 5 more minutes until class is over. On the dot. He wakes up, sees that Bakugo is still talking, and puts his stuff away, which caused everybody in the classroom to start to put their stuff away. And then Izuku and Bakugo hears the teacher saying that Izuku also wants to be in UA, wants to go there, which is very interesting. The teacher looks over to Izuku and everybody else looks over to him, and they're all questioning, is he gonna stay awake and answer back? Izuku said, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. Oh, sorry, I just woke up. What? And one of his friends asked him if he's really going to UA. And Zuko said, yeah. Yeah, why not? Everybody say why not out loud and try to convince Izuku that's a bad idea, go to another school. And his friends tell him to go either to the second highest rating hero school or other high schools. Izuku's having none of this and said, don't worry, I'll pass. And he was about to leave because it was getting close to the time. He's known for all the times that they get out of school, that he is perfect time on everything. And he was about to walk away because right now it's 2 minutes till the bell rings. And everybody is getting ready and starting to leave. The teacher already left at this point because it's not his problem. But Bakugo stops Izuku. Izuku let it happen because it's the end of the day and it was one of the rarest times where he has free space, a free day off from all of his classes. So he lets it happen. He gets pushed against the wall with Bakugo grabbing onto his shirt, ripping it up to his chin, and just doing a few times against the wall. Izuku's just letting it happen because, well, he didn't care. He doesn't really care. Which Bakugo see his face and see that Izuku is not reacting like how he wants him to react. So he start up his quirk for the first time ever against Izuku. In the moment that he throws a huge blast at Izuku for some kind of reaction, Izuku brings up his toothpick. He say it in a very quiet voice. Fifth star. And his arm, whichever, starts to form into black and yellow toothpick. I'm just going to call it a staff, and push Bakugo far enough, about 5 feet away exactly. And the explosion, well, it happens, but it's not close enough to affect anybody. Rest of his so-called friends have already gone because they can't handle Bakugo's quirk. Bakugo sees that Izuku finally fought back and was getting ready to throw some more hands, but to his surprise, Izuku started to walk over to the window. And Bakugo doesn't care. He's still gonna run towards Izuku and throw another haymaker. This time with a explosion enhancement punch. And right when he was about to throw his punch, Izuku ducked under, sweep Bakugo's legs around, making Bakugo fall off on his ass. But Izuku opens up the window and jumps off. He sticks his toothpick, his fifth star, and down, extended as far as to the ground, and when it finally hits, while he's still in the air, he slowly retracts. When he gets back down, it's like an elevator. And he walks off like nothing happened. There's a small indent of a cube, a square, in the floor on the ground. But he hears, as he's getting out of the school property, he overhears Bakugo saying, "I'm gonna get you, you damn nerd." Going on with his day, he walks slow, very slow, almost to a point where people think that he has a slow quirk, just by how he's walking. But Izuku is just enjoying the free time that he has. His father told him that he needed to get to home since he had a free day, and he can do whatever he wants. Izuku's choice is walking slow. He has two paths. One going along with the river and railroad tracks. Going through there or go under a bridge. He chose the bridge. Why not? As he was getting there, very slowly, it echoes. Izuku feels something off today for once. And out of the ordinary, his eyes are more focused. His stance are more stiff, but still somehow relaxed at the same time. In his hands, well, one of his right hand is forming into a dark metallic look, and then start to form sharp, a little flat, and he's just waiting for something to happen. When he finally get under the bridge, something attacked him. He took a huge right slash towards whoever that was coming after him. He cut something, but two pieces fell and was the manhole. He slashed across some sludge or water across, and it cuts in half, but it reforms and changed back into the sludge monster. He talks about, and I need your body. I need your body. I didn't think he was here. And he strangled Izuku. Izuku kind of feels it bad because he knows what he needs to do, but he doesn't want to use it. But when he does, he sees that it's not effective. So he used another one. He used the fifth. He used the first. It's not working. And then he finally used the third, which didn't help much at all. He cuts right in half where you can take a breather again. A huge, and then he got covered up again with sludge, this time making it harder for the sludge to get into his mouth. He's getting it into the ears, but that's way slower. And he's trying to force it open to get into the body. As he's struggling, a huge boom came from nowhere, going straight down, and there was a yellow flash. By this point, Izuku had thought of an idea. His eyes are covered, his ears are covered, he can't think of anything. So he used number 4, smash. And as he raised up his arms, he feels a huge push, something completely different that he never thought a smash would do, and then he hit the wall. But his hand is still up, still doing the motion up. By this point, All Might did his Detroit smash, or whatever smash he did, into to the boy, but far in his distant smashes, the one that goes further away from him. So it was like 5 meters away from All Might. And the Sludge Master is all over the ground, but he starts to reform again after that huge punch. As he reforms into this puddle, Izuku finished the action of going all the way to the top, and out of nowhere, the ground started to turn all red and white. Something came out and chomped onto the sludge, and it stays there. After Izuku finally wakes up, and when All Might keeps patting him on the head, his cheek, Izuku wakes up and said, chucking up all the sludge that was in him. After he finally comes down from the coughing fit, he looks over and sees, oh, hey, All Might. And All Might looks over to the kid and was a little bit shocked, surprised, a little bit, that he just talked to him as if he was a regular person, which he is, but not like a fan, which is kind of rare for him. But after that shock went over, Izuku asked him what's wrong. And All Might points over to the box, the red cube. And Izuku said, oh, that. Yeah, sorry about that. He attacked me, so I'm allowed to use my quirk. He still feels a bad taste when he say quirk. He knows what it is, but he's not allowed to say it. It's so annoying. And All Might said, yeah, I see that, but is the villain okay? Did you, and Zuko said, no. It should have just made him unconscious. How long, he was about to let go, but he asked All Might, how long was I out? And All Might said about 3 minutes. And Zuko said, oh, that's fine. And he lowers his hand again, and the creature itself went back down into the ground as if it was never there, turning the red flooring back into grayish concrete. And what's left was a square shaped thing that is the sludge monster. Which All Might is impressed that it's staying in shape, but also that it's not moving. He looks around to find something to contain it, and Zuko said, oh wait, I have something, as he brings out some bandage. And All Might looks over to the band-aid, the cloth that you wrap around your wounds. That's what they are. I don't know what they're called. Sorry, I don't use them anyway. And All Might looks over to the band-aids and then back to Izuku and just points. Why? And Izuku said, "Oh, I get hurt a few times from my classes, and just use these. It'll be easier, right?" And All Might said, "Yeah, kid. I think I can do this." As he wrapped around the sludge monster quite a few times to become a ball, just a white ball, and saying, "Well, kid, here's my autograph." And Zook said, "No need. I don't want it," which shocks All Might again. But he already wrote it down. And said, "Well, I mean, here, kid, a memento for saving the day." And Zuko said, "Great." That means I have to tell my father. But All Might just flies away. You guys are in disappointment, huh? I like it this way. Man, it's been so long since I talked. Anyway, Yusuke gets back home, and when he gets there, he sees that his parents are watching TV, and it was the news channel. It shows that All Might was fighting against this villain, and he escaped, but he's now reappeared in the police station with a white ball of cotton. And when he unwrapped it, it shows the sludge villain is still knocked out. Everybody's just appraising, applying, and all of that other stuff onto All Might. But he is starting to eat dinner. A few time passes, and he's in his bed sleeping after a long day. The very next day, Izuku wakes up. It's a Sunday. Yeah, it's a Sunday, and he decided to actually be a little more productive for this day. Since he got a few calls from his teachers, his senseis, telling him that he's gonna get a few more days off to reschedule and replan for the new students. And Izuku says okay and chose to go to the mall since he has enough money and he wants to buy new equipment, mostly to get more precise with his abilities. As he was about to leave, yellow Fanta, came up and asked if he could come. Now asking as if he was a small child, even though he's the oldest in the house. Zuko thinks about it and wants to say no, but he sees the puppy eyes? Cat eyes. The shiny things in his eyes. He doesn't know what to call it, but he just say, "Fine, but you're not on my army anymore. I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to know." And Fanta said, I get it. I'll just be like this. The small cat, fox, bat form that he is, that's yellow, and he starts just to fly around Zuko. Zuko said, "Fine." And he yells out that he's leaving, going to the mall, and saying bye to everybody at the same time. Over at the mall, it's normal, interesting. He's gone to a few stores, getting all his equipment that he needs. And finally, it's for lunch. He gets some food, and he was about to eat until three men came into the middle of the mall and started to shoot up the place using guns and threats and telling everybody to get down. But Zuko chose not to. He pretended not to hear that because he really likes to eat his food in quiet. So he has headphones on obvious that he's having them on. And the villains sees this. He yells to the kid from where he is, which is about a quarter of a mile away, but Izuku doesn't hear him. A few gunshots and everybody's yelling, screaming, but Izuku doesn't hear anything. He's still enjoying his food, one bite at a time. So one of the villains finally get over to Izuku and pull off his headset and tells Izuku, "Hey kid, I said get your face on the ground," with a gun pointed to Izuku's face. And Izuku's still eating at this point. I can't believe I did that. Ow, that hurt. I just hate that sound. Anyway, as he finally finished and swallowed it, he looks over to the guy and says, what? As the guy threatens him that he's gonna kill him if he doesn't listen to what I said. Izuku said, okay. So he gets down to his knees in front of this guy, and the moment that he touched the ground with his left hand, he swiped up really quickly with his right hand, bringing up the third star, but in the flat side, and push up straight. It's huge. It's 3 times bigger than Izuku's himself. And smashing the villain and going all the way to the ceiling, smashing up against it and falling back down. After a huge crash and some silence, the other 2 villains that were around came back after the ruckus. But Izuku immediately turned off his power and went down on the floor. Now he tried to make some tears, but he couldn't, so he just pretended that he was crying. The villains came up and looks around and asks and yells, "Who did this? Who messed with my boy, my friend, my brother, whatever?" And nobody's saying it because, well, the gun. And the guy finally points it over to Izuku, the closest one, and said, You with the ugly green hair." Which Izuku gets a tick mark because no one messed with his hair. It's his favorite thing. It's from his mother. The only good thing about it. Because it's so soft. And Izuku stops pretending crying. And then the guy keeps insulting him. He gets insulted by Bakugo. Mostly because of his nerd, being weak, not powerful enough, won't fight back, all of that. But nothing of physical, nothing of his appearance. Because he's a little bit offensive with his appearance. And this guy starts to talk about this short, scrawny, skinny, ugly, and then Zuko said, "Okay, that's enough." He gets back up and asks, "What?" The villains gets a little bit scary, but not really. What the heck? My head. Hold on. And steps back just one step back and reinforce it and yelling at the kid, "What happened around here? What did you do to my boy?" Izuku looks around and asks with a confusing face, "Who?" With a very blank look on his face. And he points over to his boy. His best friend. His whatever. Izuku said, "Oh, him. Yeah, he slipped over some spilled water." The 2 villains looks over to him and doesn't believe it. And they start to threaten Izuku to tell the truth. what exactly happened around here. And Zuko is just backing up a bit and starting to shake a bit, more because he's getting excited, because he wants to just get them far away just enough. And right when he was about to step perfectly in line, a huge crash came around from the top of the mall. The glass ceiling. That's why. And comes, who should be coming? As the glass finally falls and breaks upon a few places, very close to some people, Zuko immediately brings out his smash, but multiple of them. He brings out only three, but they're big enough to go around people. And as he finally finished the extra movement of spreading them out and leaving their mouths open, making it bigger of a wider area, it catch the rest of the glass and munch them down. And grinding it, very hard sound, a very irritating sound to a point where everybody there except Zuko cover their ears because it's too much of a high pitched sound. It's like nails against a chalkboard. That kind of sound. As it finally gets back and becoming quiet, the hero finally comes in. The hero finally blasts a few of these creatures out of the way, thinking those are part of the villain's quirk. And after knocking out two, she sees two villains gang up of a kid on a kid. Izuku just watched this going on, and he feels the effects after one of his contractions, get knocked out. A stick. Okay, for Smash, four legs are coming out along with the mouth. So when the mouth is fully out, four legs are out of it as still attached to the ground, and that's what's sticking and making it grow faster, bigger, and all of that. Control is the source of the control, but those were pulled out like they were flower roots on both of them, and that he felt that part because he has no control of them anymore, and they disappeared into smoke. After that two initial pain, he feels it in his arm and he holds it on to it. Nejire finally goes over to the two villains and throws her energy blast over to them and, blasting them back into a wall, knocking them both out. As she flies down to the two and checking if they're fully knocked out, she looks over to the kid and check it on him, see if he's okay. And Zuko just said, yeah, that hurt. And Nature said, what? And Zuko said, that hurt. And she said, wait, did they hurt you? Or did you get hit? And did they shoot you? And she sees that they were holding guns. And Zuko said, no, you, ow. And she's still flexing his wrist because that's mostly the control point. And he points with his left hand to his creatures, his smash, and saying, that's my power. And Nejire looks over and sees that it's that creature. And she looks over to that, to him, to that, and then back to him saying, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I thought that was... And Zuko said, ow. And he just kneels down onto his chair and saying, much better. After he puts his last one back down and the other two finally disappeared, his control on his right arm is finally fixed. So he grabs onto his food and start eating like nothing ever happened. Nature just sees this all happen, But as she was about to ask what's going on, her assistant, no, her teacher for that moment is a dragon hero. And she came on and telling everybody to get back up and go to the police, tell them your reports, and have your married way. But Zuku is still sitting there eating, and his headphones back on. She was about to tell that boy something, but Nejire interrupt her and talk to Zuku as she's speaking to him, but Zuku hears nothing. He finally looks up and sees that Nejire is talking to him very closely, and he just pulled out his earbuds once on his left eye and said, "What?" And Nejire is starting to spill out everything, all the things, and ask him what did he do, what is his quirk, what is his power, how did he do that, and so much more. And how does he feel that pain? Zuko is just covered his ears. The ear that he just uncovered, covered back up, said, "How? Too loud, too loud." As Nejire is getting forcibly pulled back by the dragon hero. After a few moments of her calming down and Zuko just finally finishing his food, he pulled out both of his headsets and asked, "Can I go now?" Or the dragon hero said, "Okay, what's going on? Why is Nejire being more like herself, more than usual?" Zuko said, And Nejire finally calmed down, starting to speak slower for everybody else, and saying that he used his quirk just to protect these people. And she was about to say more, but the dragon hero told him that that's illegal, he's not supposed to do that. And blah, blah, blah. Like, she actually said blah, blah, blah. And Zuko said, "Huh." And she asked him, "What exactly did you do?" And Zuko said, her, the girl in blue, as she broke all the glass up from the ceiling, starting to fall. Some of it went on the floor and started to scrape on some of the other people. So I brought out my quirk, a little twitch on his eye of his 4-star, and he said that he kept his mouth open, crushed it down into particles of sand. And she looks around and sees that one of the spots was right in front of them. Picked up and just dropped the sand as if it were in between her fingers. And she doesn't feel any sharpness, like it's completely smooth. Very fine. And she's impressed by this and asked him, can we see it? And Zuko says, sure. He pulled up 2 fingers, a motion from bottom to top, and one came out. Around a 5x5 size. It's a shoot up as if it was a tower in its own size, up to Nejire's height. It opens its mouth and chomped down, and they heard a. That's it. I can't make it. Kind of like that kind of sound, which they're impressed by, and Nejire say, "God damn it!" And then he put it back down. And she said, "That's impressive, kid." And she's starting to get more interested of this very kid and ask him what he's gonna be doing. Is he in any schools? And Zuko said, "Oh, yeah, he looks on his watch and sees that he's not going to be able to shop anymore and he has no other plans, so why not keep talking? He said, I'm planning to go to UA, which the dragon hero said, great, I'm going to put a recommendation for you. And Zook said, okay. And she asked, I need your name. I think you're going to be a good hero. Just for, and for that very quirk, it has so much potentials. And naturally, he say, yeah, like it can go swish and then swoosh and then go up and down and collect all of the villains all at once at the same time. And Zuko said, he talks to her back to the dragon hero and said, points over to Nejire and said, and can she be, less loud? And the dragon hero understands, but sees a little bit rude and just tells Nejire to go and help out the rest of the civilians, as she happily does, bouncing on kind of like tiptoe bounce. What was it called? Skipping. Great, I forgot that word. She's starting to skip and back to the policeman. Now they have a little bit of conversation. Exactly what is Zuko's name, whatever information that he has to give. And the dragon hero said, great, I'm expecting great things from you, kid. Just with that power alone, I think you'll be perfect for the hero gig. Which Izuku is just grateful to hear that. Said, thank you. And some silence, and Izuku said, can I go now? And Miracle said, no, that's not her name. The dragon hero said, yeah, sure, kid. Yeah, have a nice day. And Zuko was about to walk away, but he turns back and asks her one more thing. Hey, a quick question. And the dragon hero looks over to him and said, yeah? Can I have your autograph? Which, she said yeah. She said yes, but she doesn't have a pencil. And Zuko brings out a pen out of his backpack and a paper. The other side has All Might. He still has the paper. And she picks up the paper, writes down her autograph, and she flipped it over, about to send it back, and she says All Might. Said, here, kid. I think I need to put it on a different paper. Zuko said, no need. This is perfect. And she said, no, you there's All Might on the other side. And it's just not, it's not like she had no idea how to explain something like this. And Zuko said, it's fine. I really don't like All Might that much, but your autograph is way better than him, which hits hard on her. Hearing that she's better than All Might, and she's gonna rub that in on All Might no matter what, even on not eyes. And she said, "Thanks, kid," but seriously, Izuku's just wave it off like it's nothing and going back home. The very next day, it was kind of interesting event and explaining so much stuff. Sorry, he's awake. He's in his pajamas in the middle of the day. He slept in. He thinks about what has happened on the past events and explaining his quirk so often. And then a show came up about some stuff. And then he has an idea. But he needs to have permission from his parents, which will be annoying. But he decided to do it anyway. He waits until everybody's in the kitchen, making some food for dinner. After having their dinner at the same time, Izuku started to start up a conversation with his parents. And he was talking about his quirk and how useful his power really, how useful it is. But they agree and talk about some other stuff. But Zuko brings out something else. He says, I saw this on TV and I really, I want to, um, and his mother said, it's alright, sweetie. You can tell us anything. What is on your mind? And Zuko said, I want to get some tattoos. And silence. His father said, why? And Zuko explained why. And when he gave his explanation, it's reasonable, seems like it would be good, but Inko thinks it's a bad idea because it would be too big. And she thinks it's going to be as big as Zuko's hand, like that kind of big on wherever his body. And Zuko said, no, we can make it smaller, like around a 1 inch by 1 inch size of a star. And Inko thinks about it and say, oh, why a star? And Zuko said, why not? A circle seems boring. A square is squares. And my power, it is called the stars. Inko thinks about it and looks over to Isashi and asks him if that would be acceptable. He thinks about it and says, sure, I think that will work. Should we do it all 10? And Zuko said, no. How about we do 5.5? Inko said, wait, why a half? Like a half of a star? And Zuko said, yeah, that. And Isashi also asked, why a half? And Zuko said, because, well, I'm going to say that this is a part of my quirk. And I, how do I say this? I found a disadvantages when people have special quirks, like someone like this happen, and they're only allowed to do something along with their quirk. Zuko explained that he wants to do it where he had to touch his power, his tattoo. He's gonna say his quirk or power, touch it and then activate, and then touch the other one and activate that one. Get into the habit of doing that. And he explained why, which seems very useful. And then they start to see some drawbacks and say, what if you get into a situation where you can't reach in and you're fighting against a villain? And Zuko said, that's when I start to activate my other power of actually using it without touching it. They say, but why do you want tattoos? We can just mark it with a marker. And Zuko said, it won't last long. What if I had to go and go to a pool, get washed, get too sweaty, stuff like that? Explosion. And Ingo said, is this just an excuse for you to get tattoos? Zuko just looks away. And Isashi looks over to Zuko and asks him, do you just want tattoos? And Zuko kind of like scratched the back of his head and said, no, as he's looking away. And they both just question everything about the very conversation that they had. Sorry, something was making it hard for me to speak. That very conversation that they had, all just for he can have tattoos. Inko said, and that's why he's your son. Isashi said, fair point. Zuku, next time just ask us if you want tattoos, not give us a huge explanation about what you want and how it's gonna work and all that. Just ask us. And Zuku said, nah. But thank you, as he put his food away and go to sleep. Now, he's not old enough for the tattoos, but by that time of those 10 months, he is training and get used to the habit of moving to his right hand, tapping on one spot where he's planning to put each and every star, all 10 of them, but right now 5.5, along with his arm, his just right arm. He gets to 1 star, fighting against his father, and 3rd star, his 5th star. And then after 5 months of just regular training of using these, his father tells him that he's going to get rid of all of his extra training. Izuku looks at his father and asks why. His father explained that since he's going to be enrolling into UA, most likely you're not going to have enough time, and I have seen you being very tired after school and after your classes and after your sessions. I figured that now you can have some free time. And Zuko just thinks, great, more time to sleep. But in the rest of the 5 months, they start to train unusual ways to using these 5 and the others exactly how they can be used differently. Zuko asks if he can do this to one of these, and this is just more of the others that he wants to use and potential on them. After 10 months finally passed, Zuko is now in front of the gate. He takes a few breathers and walks in. And that's where I'm going to leave off. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day, and sorry for the voice. It's just been so long. Alright then. Bye.